Anxiety and fear are not in the driver's seat. I am. So we're gonna go backpacking alone. I almost hesitate to record anything because it's so quiet here. Wow. I've been a lot of quiet places, but this might be the quietest. I just arrived at my camp for the night on my first backpacking trip solo in 10 years. I used to go so much more and I just disconnected from that. And this year, my mission is to do a lot of backpacking. And tonight is my first night for that. Putting the gear on the back felt amazing. Felt like myself again, lifting up the pack. I've been hiking with a little heavier pack lately to get used to this, but loading a full pack knowing it was my stuff for the night was very satisfying. I'm excited. I'm also gonna be honest that I'm nervous. Just because anytime you spend the night outside by yourself, you're a little nervous. Like, that's natural. That's the point of doing it. I could be in my car scrolling my phone, which is what I do sometimes when I'm anxious, and which is partly what's kept me from this. So I could do that. That would be safe until you haven't taken care of your health and you haven't maintained muscle strength, and then it's not safe anymore. I made a recent video about this, but it's that choose your hard. Doing something out of your comfort zone is hard, but also disconnecting from yourself and losing track of who you are in life, not doing what you love, is also pretty hard. I choose this. So beautiful. I'll give you a little tour around camp. You can see behind me, I'm in sort of a canyon. It's up a little bit from the drainage, so if there was any rain, flash flooding in the desert can happen, so you don't want to be at the lowest point, but it would all flow for the most part below me, and there's not rain forecast, otherwise I wouldn't be here. That's the platform we're on. Camped on rock. I brought 2 camp pads, and yes, there is dirt around, but I'm not gonna walk on the crust. The cryptobiotic soil, it's so fragile. This is a camp spot that we're in. When I arrived, these rocks were already here to show probably that this is the best place to camp. Flattest spot on the platform. This is kind of where they want you to be to minimize impact. So of course we'll honor that. And then there's some signs here that say campsite boundary. They don't want you to walk past any of this, so we can preserve all the beauty and the plants. So let's set up the tent.
I left the hall light on in case you come back home.
Okay, a little discovery. It's been a minute since I set this tent up, which is fine, but I'm realizing it needs stakes. I'll use rocks, but I just have never set it up on just rock before, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. I'm glad I have lots of light. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to knot this, how to tie a knot onto the fly so I can tie it around a rock. I'm realizing I don't know enough knots. So if you're in the comments and you know knots, tell me what knot I need to learn so that I can do things like this. What's the best knot for tying down guy lines onto rock? I think I'm making it work. I'll show you what I got set up. As long as the wind doesn't get too crazy tonight and start blowing it around, it should be pretty stable. We'll just see what happens. I'm so tucked in here by the rocks that it either could be a wind tunnel through here, or it might block the wind. But you know what? That's the point of going camping, is because you're trying to be in the unknown and see what happens. So we'll see what happens. So let me show you how it's set up. So I've got rocks. I might add some more rocks to each pile, but I got a rock on the ground cloth and then a rock holding down the corners. And there's a lot more rocks laying around. So I think we should be good. This is the general setup for camp tonight. Pretty exciting. All right, now it's time to make the bed, put the bed in the tent, and then get some dinner cooking. I was gonna cold soak, but I forgot to do it earlier, and it needs to cold soak for a couple hours. Luckily, I, at the last minute, packed the stove, so we'll be able to cook. I hear noise. What do I hear? It's so quiet in here, I can't imagine. I'll report back if anything happens, but maybe it was just my stomach talking about dinner.
Still see your friends from time to time. They say you are doing fine.
It's time to go over and make some dinner and enjoy sunset as the light is changing. We're not gonna get a full sky view in here. I can't complain because it's gonna be a very special, unique place to get to see the sunset. Even though this isn't a bear area, we're not in bear country, I'm still gonna set up the Bermuda Triangle, although I can't really do a triangle here because the platform that we're camping on is long. So I'm gonna do a Bermuda line. Usually you set your tent up in one place and then you make a triangle and you set up your food preparation at the other point of the triangle, and then you put your bear can when you're done cooking at the other end of the triangle, and then they're all in 3 different locations from each other, so you're not attracting the bear back to where you prepared the food or over to the tent. But tonight we're gonna do a line. So the tent is all the way over there, and then we're gonna cook here, and then we're gonna, at the end of the evening, put the bear can down there. And even though there's no bears, there are rodents and other critters, so I just don't want to attract anything to camp.
I hope it never ends. Let's be more than friends.
Okay, for dinner we are having a pad thai, but I made a mistake because I put it into plastic bags, which wasn't a mistake, that was to make it lighter. But I forgot to see how much water I needed. So I'm just guessing here on the water. If I put too much in, it'll just be soup, which would be okay. And if I don't put enough in, it'll be really, really thick. But if I don't put enough in, that means I have more water in for drinking tomorrow on the way back, because the hike back is longer. So it's all an experiment. We'll see what happens. But in this foil, and then I'm gonna stick it in the bear canister. So I'm gonna do a bunch of things to keep it out of the wind so that it will keep cooking. And now we wait for this to hydrate for about 15-20 minutes. That's always the hard part, but we have a nice sunset to enjoy, so I think we're gonna be okay. Normally I would harvest some of these juniper berries to eat for a little appetizer because I love juniper berries, but we're in a national park, and one of the regulations or requests in a national park is to not harvest anything, to not collect flowers or firewood or rocks or archaeology. Well, we never collect archaeology anywhere we are, but we definitely don't forage in national parks. That's how it keeps it so sacred and beautiful for everyone who comes. So as much as I would love to munch on some of these little juniper berries that are so delicious, I'm just gonna wait until I'm out of the park and I'll enjoy some tea instead. I'm hoping that as you watch this, you can feel how still and quiet it is here. Just a little breeze. Well, it got dark fast, but that's okay because I'm sleepy. Dinner was delicious. And now I'm all cozy in my bed. I'm definitely happy I have the 2 mattresses since I'm on the rock. Put the bear canister away, and everything in the bear canister is anything that has a scent on it. Toothbrushes, sunscreen, chapstick, all my first aid stuff that's like Pepto-Bismol or something that would smell like something is in the bear canister are away at the other end of this rock platform. Maybe this is TMI, but I also peed close to the tent so that I wouldn't have to camp in the middle of the night because I'm marking my territory just like animals do, hoping that we'll just keep anything away from the tent if they smell the scent of a human. And I'm so happy right now. I'm not nervous at all. I'm so relaxed and just comfortable. It's so interesting, like the lead up to this of thinking, well, I remember all the gear and all the things, and everything just becomes intuitive when you're out here. So all the worry and energy I put into thinking about this ahead of time and putting off doing it, even though I really wanted to, because it just felt overwhelming and I had all these stories in my head. I needed to prepare for everything. And now that I'm here, I'm just so, so happy and relaxed. This is an invitation that the thing that you're afraid of doing or the thing that you're overwhelmed about doing is exactly the thing to go do. Because I just did it tonight. I'm doing it right now and I'm so happy. All right, good night. Can you hear the birds? What a magical place. So nice outside. All right, let's get up and hang out outside together. Wow. The campsite is way back down there. You see the tent? Oh, just barely. Oh, wow. In the distance, let's see if I can do this right there. The little Sal Mountains. And before I knew it, it was time to get back on trail. All right, we are back on the main trail. And we are off to find some arches. What a great day. For one thing that I'm getting out of this experience, which is the reason I always want to go backpacking, but I forget it, is confidence. Being outside, setting up your own shelter, preparing your food outdoors, laying out your bed, carrying everything you need for an adventure is like the number one way to develop confidence. But even if backpacking isn't your thing, what is something new that you can do, that you've been wanting to do, that would give you some confidence? The thing that you've been thinking about so much and that you just wish that you would just go for it, but you have all these stories and limiting beliefs in your head. How can you first give love to that part of yourself who thinks that holding back is keeping you safe because they need to be seen? Hi, darling, I'm here for you. Let them know you see them. And then, how can you build your confidence a little bit? By just doing one step towards something you've been wanting to do. I promise you, it's gonna make you feel so alive and so happy. All the things I was worried about happening if I went backpacking didn't happen. If I trust that no matter what happens, no matter what difficulty arises in my life, if I trust that I can navigate it, if I trust that I can get through it, take care of it, if I will show up for myself, if I trust myself 100%, that it really doesn't matter what happens. Everything's gonna be okay. I'm gonna figure it all out. When I start to spiral into imagining that I can pre-plan every possible outcome, I'm just gonna say, Vida, slow down. What if everything works out?
But don't give up, just hold on tight. It'll be alright.